All right, folks, it is time for the quarterfinals of Grand Prix Mirage Expo. So the good news is, as I'm sure you might have been able to guess, given by the time gap between the last round and this round, we did not have a qualifying match to play. Our opponent and I have known we are playing each other for a hot minute, but things just didn't quite line up to play up until now. Recording this on the evening of Sunday the 25th. Waiting for the opponent to get into the lobby right now, but just kind of wanted to talk about this matchup because I'm sure you recall this was my round 3 matchup, and I don't know if I would describe myself as optimistic. So one of the things that I have found with this particular matchup is boarding stuff out is really hard against this deck. Everything in the card, or every card in the deck, applies a relevant amount of pressure, and going down on creatures means that's fewer cards in our deck that kill our opponent. The only things I'm really eagerly looking to board in are like Bleeding Out and Terminal Impact, and that's mostly just for reach. And I should probably be leaning on these as burn damage in the post-board games, but it's really hard for me to feel confident in bringing them in because I'm not really sure what I should be cutting for them. Igneous Visions has its relevance, so I don't really want to cut that. Foreign Encounter gets worse as I board in non-creature spells, but I don't really want to go down too many foreign encounters because that's a really big spike point. I don't really want to go down anything that grants counters because of how important counter generation is in this matchup. We're really going to need to have the odds on our side for this matchup because the longer the game goes, the more likely our opponent is going to be able to just take over the game. So one of the things that's on my mind is I think we can't really afford to go for the grindy hands. We can't really afford to go for the like long-term win conditions. We need to just kind of out the gates murder them. So I'm going to be a bit less inclined towards keeping the like risky one-landers that you've seen me keep in the last 2 rounds, and much more inclined towards leaning on hands that look like they can put a really sizable set of bodies in play quickly. Opponent does get to automatically be on the play because they are the higher seed, which is an initial pain point here. Our opponent's removal starts at 2 mana, and our opponent getting to get through their turn 1 pretty much unscathed is very good for them. We have a very interesting hand here. We could lead on Calamity Cat turn 1, and then if our opponent just spends turn 2 removing, we can go Calamity Cat, Ignited Soul turn 2, pitch the Spirit Realm Phoenix. I like this. It's not the breakneck hand I was necessarily looking for, but in the grand scheme of things, this could be a much worse hand. I can think of a lot of 6s that look worse than this, and I'm not sure I can think of many 6s I would be more inclined towards than this. An Exorcist of Errors follow up to our opponent, to our Calamity Cat, is going to be really rough if our opponent has Exorcist. So fingers crossed our opponent doesn't get to keep an Exorcist of Errors hand. They do have a playset, so it's possible, but our opponent is keeping 6. So we're going to kick things off here. Presumably tap land or just 1 mana up doing nothing. They have no 1 mana spells in the oh, they can duress us. But Duress is very bad here. That only puts Igneous Visions into the bin. We will draw an Urban Jungle. Makes it much safer to crack this Primal Fissure and go get a red source. In fact, I'm going to do that now to get the land out of our library for future draws. So Calamity Cat. We're going to chip our opponent to 19 and pass on over. And so our opponent could go Exorcist of Errors here to try and shut down a follow-up, but the risk they take there is that if we do have a great 2-drop through Exorcist of Errors. Yeah, they're just going to Final Fate Calamity Cat. That is unfortunate because that tees up a Final Fate flashback next turn, but we can go Calamity Cat plus Ignited Soul next turn, pitching the Spirit Realm Phoenix to cast and Igneous Visions to Ignited Soul. We draw a Forest, so we can probably pitch this Urban Jungle to future Calamity Cat activation or Ignited Soul trigger. We're going to cast Ignited Soul, cast Calamity Cat, pitching Spirit Realm Phoenix, counter on Ignited Soul, swing 2, discard Igneous Visions to draw a card. We draw an Igneous Visions. Main 2, we pass, get back the Spirit Realm Phoenix. And we'll just pop out our graveyard. One of the nice things here is our opponent does not necessarily have a deck that puts a ton of creatures into play. So if they don't prioritize killing Ignited Soul, we might just wind up with other things hitting the board that draw our opponent's attention. And as a result, they might be inclined to let the Ignited Soul just keep scaling. And of course, the more Ignited Soul scales, the harder it is going to be for them to block it, so the more likely they're going to be burning a removal spell on a 1-drop. And if they're going to be burning removal spells, I'd much rather them be spending 2 mana for Final Fate, 3 mana for Final Fate to kill a 1-drop. Opponent says they are thinking. Makes me suspect they have 2 lands in hand. Makes me suspect specifically they're looking at a removal spell in hand and weighing whether they want to heap Ludicon and play the 2 mana removal spell from hand, whether it's Ominous Slaughter or another Final Fate, or if they want to, so like maybe they have heap Ludicon and Swamp, or if they're just looking to play the Swamp and flashback Final Fate to preserve information in hand. As far as sideboarding goes, I mentioned wanting to primarily just bring in the burn. There is merit to boarding in our Graveyard Hate specifically to counteract the flashback on Final Fate. That's really the only thing I can think of that it does. Cuts off the flashback on All That Remains, which is nice, but that's about it. Like, the flashback on Chronicle of Extinction isn't going to matter, and we know that's a component to our opponent's sideboard plan against us, so... They did have the Heap Ludicon plus 2 mana removal spell. Oh, it's Exorcist of Errors. Here is what I will offer them. I'm going to show them just the Spirit Realm Phoenix. So if they want to take an Igneous Visions, they can. And if they want to get the information on what's in my hand, they get the Igneous Visions, which is fine because I have one in Graveyard. Definitely lucked out a little bit that our opponent chose to remove the Calamity Cat over Exorcist of Errors. And this makes me suspect that they don't actually have a removal spell in hand. You'll take the face-up pile? Alrighty. So I get to maintain some mystery here, but we do lose the Spirit Realm Phoenix. So... engine down a little bit. We will untap. We will draw. We pick up a Fabricated Anomaly. That's pretty big. Main 1. So I'm thinking we go Anomaly, activate Calamity Cat, targeting Anomaly, put a counter on the Anomaly. Swing, put a counter on Ignited Soul with Anomaly, exiling Primal Fisher Calamity Cat. So we're going to go Fabricated Anomaly. We're going to end up pitching both of these cards anyways, so let's actually preserve the card in graveyard. Let's preserve the creature in graveyard specifically. So anomaly up to 3/4 stat line. We're going to go swing both of these. Exile the 2 lands. Move to blocks, and they're going to take 6. That's a good sign for us. On damage, we are going to loot away the Igneous Visions here, pick up a forest, and we're just going to hold on to that for puzzle box activation at the end of our opponent's turn. So they did have the untapped land. They are going to flashback Final Fate, killing the Fabricated Anomaly. This is what I expected, and this is fine because Ignited Soul now gets to sit here unscathed, and they just spent their entire turn not getting to progress their board state at all, and we now have the Puzzle Box token up to try and get us, and that's a Spirit Realm Phoenix. Ooh boy. We untap, we draw a Temple of Origins. I'm going to loot this away to the puzzle box, I think. See if we can't find a better card to pitch to Calamity Cat. We pick up another Fabricated Anomaly. That's not something we're pitching to a Calamity Cat. That's something we're developing into play. So we're going to Fabricated Anomaly number 2. We're going to puzzle box away the Spirit Realm Phoenix. And we are going to Calamity Cat away the Shiori. Counter on Fabricated Anomaly. And we will turn sideways, thinking about if I want to eat all... If I eat 6 cards, then... Eating with 6 cards... So one of the things that I'm thinking about... if I eat 6 cards with Anomaly here, this threatens to put our opponent to 3. Which means if they don't block with Exorcist of Errors, they need to put 2 creatures in play. And if they do block with the Exorcist, we get a Spirit Realm Phoenix. So putting them to 4 with a Calamity Cat still in play, I think we're good to not put counters on the Fabricated Anomaly. They have to block the Anomaly regardless of whether or not we put a counter on it. Or rather, there is reason to block the Anomaly, regardless of if we put a counter on it, and if we do not put a counter on it, and they do not block, we still put them to lethal from a single Ignited Soul attack. So we're going to exile the 2 lands and a Calamity Cat. And move to blocks. So this is going to set them to 7. If they take the Anomaly, they go to 4. The scary point here, and the one thing I probably should have spent more time talking about, is Damned to Hell. Damned to Hell does mop up Anomaly or Ignited Soul plus the Calamity Cat, and if they take that, I think they're sitting on a Damned to Hell. So that would probably be the reason to burn up an Igneous Visions to Fabricated Anomaly there. But I think I would rather preserve the cards in graveyard, preserve the Igneous Visions, because if they're sitting on a Damned to Hell, we need to be able to bounce back a bit harder. So they did have the 5th land. They're tapping 1, 2. Okay, so it's going to be Final Fate removing Ignited Soul and then Flashback to kill Fabricated Anomaly. And we have lethal here with Calamity Cat plus Spirit Realm Phoenix. We untap, we draw. Does not matter what it is. Spirit Realm Phoenix. Pitching land. Take them to 3, and then we swing 3 in the air. That's game 1 on the draw. Opponent did not realize that's a line of text on the card. All right, so that is a good sign for us. We wanted to be up a game if we could, because that means us potentially being on the play at some point. We only have to win one game afterwards. So if we were going into this game on the play, the danger would be that like we have to win on the play, then we have to win on the draw. We've gotten the win on the draw out of the way, so we can still win on the draw and win this in 2. But now we have the option to try and win on the play in game 3 only. As far as sideboarding, again, I do think it is just bring in the burn, bring in the ways to kill over the top here. Again, there's merit to archival storage just to like have the effectiveness of Final Fate. I think if that were something I was looking to do, that would be the death knell for Igneous Visions and Foreign Encounter. And there could be an argument to that. I think because this is not a matchup where I can afford to really go long-term grindy, the Igneous Visions have to come out. I think the things in my graveyard just need to be fodder to eat, with the exception of Spirit Realm Phoenix, but that just has other value in this matchup. So Igneous Visions are out. We could go down Shiori. Shiori is a great scaling threat if we can get another thing that scales in play. It really comes down to what do we have that can scale so that Shiori can start scaling as well. Fabricated Anomaly, Menelea, Calamity Cat is pretty much it, and Foreign Encounter. So 16 cards. I think I like Shiori a lot. I think we need to go down Shiori. Just go to full play sets of all of the good creatures. Don't love going down 2 creatures for 2 non-creatures for Foreign Encounter purposes, but we still do have 28 hits for a card that looks at 6. So I'm hesitantly confident with this plan. And we know for a fact that our opponent is going up Chronicle of Extinctions and will probably be going up Forced Shutdowns because that was their sideboard plan in the Swiss match we played. Opening hand here is pretty good. Turn 1 Ignited Soul, turn 2 Menelea, turn 3 Foreign Encounter. With a Cairn of Boons sitting here as well. This is not breakneck is the concern. Most things we get off a Foreign Encounter will be big enough. I'm going to keep it. Opponent goes Swamp and Pass. Not too shocking. We know they want Duress out of their deck for this matchup. We draw Terminal Impact. Going to Primal Fissure, go find a mountain here. We pass. And of course, if our opponent has the turn 2 removal spell for Ignited Soul, we just go for Cairn of Boons instead. No immediate removal spell here. We will untap, we will draw. We pick up a Cairn of Boons. I think... So they have Ominous Slaughter. If we go for Menelaya, that's a horrendous blowout. I think we're going to shock in Urban Jungle. And we're just going to go to combat. Opponent, yeah, just taking the 1. On damage, I'm going to loot away a Kirin of Boons. So we get the 3rd land, main 2. Let's run out a Kirin of Boons. And we pass. Did the opponent have Omen of Slaughter? No! 2 untapped lands, nothing to do with them. Interesting. Swamp as land for turn. Data Weaver, so they do take the top 2 cards of our library. For an encounter, Kirin of Boons. The foreign encounter is a little sketchy to give them. But, like, if they're tapping out for foreign encounter, I feel like we're fine. I'm going to Menelaya here and hold up a red source. I could Bleeding out the Data Weaver here, but I think if all they do next turn is develop Kirin or foreign encounter, I'm content with how this plays out. So we're going to go Mountain, tap 2 for Menelaya. Counters on these 2. Go to combat. Swing 5, Data Weaver can't block. So we just go right to damage. And I think I'm going to turn this mountain into something new. Primal Fisher. Cool. That is probably just going to get discarded in a future turn. We just pass. Holding up a Menelaya activation to protect Ignited Soul or Kirin of Boons, preferably our opponent just goes for Chronicle of Extinction here and just forces out the and just like kills Menelaya before it can matter. Or better yet, our opponent just removes Menelaya. Let's pop out the graveyard in case we find a Fabricated Anomaly. Fortunately, we do have a meaningful amount of pressure here. We have 6 damage on board here if they don't develop to the board or pick anything off. The downside here is if they do target Kirin of Boons with removal, the value that Kirin offers is significantly diminished because it loses the counter. Okay, it's going to be Chronicle. They're going to do -2/-2. So we lose Ignited Soul, we lose Menelaya, we keep Kirin. I feel like maybe they wanted to attack there, but they chose not to. So we're going to untap. We will draw another Terminal Impact. I'm going to go for foreign encounter here, because we can hit a Fabricated Anomaly and make this Kirin a 4/4. If you top 6. We did not hit a Fabricated Anomaly, but we did hit a Frolicking Tatsuko and a Spirit Realm Phoenix. I think we're going to go Phoenix here. Tatsuko not good off of a foreign encounter, so... And the 3rd Kirin of Boons sending to the bottom is fine. So Spirit Realm Phoenix gets a counter that is going to be a point of damage to the opponent, and this is now 7 damage, taking them to 7. And I'm just going to play Primal Fisher tapped here, I think. Go to combat. We swing. They both make Data Weaver unable to block. Because it is a mandatory trigger. You do have to target a creature defending player controls with lesser power. So there is really no option there. Take the opponent to 7. And we pass. Opponent's at 7, and we're sitting on 3 burn spells in hand. This is feeling pretty good. Our opponent's not necessarily dead here. If they have a Damn to Hell, they can kill one of the 2 creatures here. I think 9 times out of 10, they just kill the Spirit Realm Phoenix. Or the Kirin. The Kirin is worth picking off in its own right. If they have targeted removal, Final Fate cleans this up very, very nicely, notably. They're going to pass. That tells me this is Damn to Hell. We will untap upkeep. We will crack Primal Fisher. I'm just going to go get another mountain here. We only really need the 1 green source right now. I will draw a Spirit Realm Phoenix. If I play Spirit Realm Phoenix, what is the value in playing Spirit Realm Phoenix? I play Spirit Realm Phoenix, that opens me up to get even more blown out by Damn to Hell. Nope. We're going to go to start a combat, see if they want to Damn to Hell. Or if we're going to get the K to go to move 2 attacks. Because here's the thing. If they take 6, go to 1, we do not Bleeding Out. I think we go Terminal Impact, force them to gain the 1 life. Or force them to play the Damn to Hell in second main, and then we just Bleeding Out in response to Damn to Hell. Alrighty. See what opponents got. Are they taking the 6? If they take the 6, we've got it. Okay, they've got the Damn to Hell here and now. So they're going to gain 5. They're going to gain 5, take 3, presumably kill the Kirin because the Spirit Realm Phoenix is recursive. They accidentally shuffle their library. Actually, they might kill the Phoenix solely because, like, Data Weaver with Foreign Encounter under it does give them access to something else to do. Opponent says they're thinking. Man, imagine if they didn't have Damn to Hell here. or rather, imagine if they chose to go to 1 and were just like, well, I can just take this and then Damn to Hell these things afterwards. And I was like, surprise, I actually have the burn spells this time. 4 to Kirin and 1 to the Phoenix. I have an interesting thought here. Just clarifying, I have a decision I have here, and it's nothing they've done as far as potential judge call. So my thinking here is I could Bleeding Out my Kirin of Boons here. If I understand correctly, Bleeding Out Kirin of Boons means they do not deal the 4 damage. Oh no, but they do still gain 5. because it's deal 5, gain 5, not deal 5, gain life equal to the damage dealt. So we're gonna call a judge real quick just to clarify something quickly. Give me just a moment. Alrighty. So 4 to Kieran and 1 to Phoenix. Kieran is dead. And they're gonna gain 5. So opponent believes that I'm asking about Shiori redirecting here. Which is kind of a funny convenience thing here. Because the opponent was under the belief that what we were looking at was trying to Shiori change the targets to just put all of the damage on like Spirit Realm Phoenix, for instance, but that I don't believe works. So our opponent doesn't think that we were looking at burning our own creature to deny them 4 life. Or to deny them any life. So my specific question there was, if it still has 2 targets and one of those targets gets removed, it still resolves to the fullest ability. If anything, I believe, and this is not something I clarified, but it was just sort of a cursory guess, like, if I understand correctly, if I remove the Kieran, I think they can just put all the damage on the Spirit, which on the Phoenix, which is worse. So, moving to second main, I have another choice here. I can bleeding out the Data Weaver to deny them some resources, but that does come at the cost of this bird spell, or I could just terminal impact our opponent to 5. If we terminal impact our opponent to 5 and they spend their turn removing Spirit Realm Phoenix, an untapped land kills the opponent with a second terminal impact. In fact, if our opponent doesn't have a way to gain life and we hit them with terminal impact here for 4, bleeding out terminal impact kills them next turn for 5 damage, with them going to 5. So I'm going to terminal impact X's 3, spend 4 mana, deal 4. Take them back down to 5. Keep Ludicon tapped. That's 1 less removal spell in their hand. The dream here is they just go Kieran of Boons or Foreign Encounter, I think. Both have their downsides for sure. But I would honestly, much as I would hate to say, oh, I hope we see a Chronicle of Extinction here, Chronicle of Extinction Edict mode would win us the game. Yeah, we take 2 from this Data Weaver attack here. Why attack a Data Weaver? Because if we have, like, because if they think we have Shiori, Shiori plus Calamity Cat. No, don't pass with 5 mana up again. Don't tell me you have the second Damn to Hell. Oh, not like this. Because it's going to gain them 7 now, because they've got 6 swamps plus a cycling card in graveyard. Oh, man, this card is so demoralizing. And, like, considering you get to run it alongside Chronicle of Extinction, it's just awful. We'll draw. Frolicking Tatsuko, not worth it. Okay. If it's the second Damn to Hell, there is absolutely merit in just bleeding out the Spirit Realm Phoenix. We're going to go to combat. I'd like to swing 3. It's the second damn to hell. Oh. I'm going to ask targets with a little funny tongue sticking out face, because if they don't target Data Weaver, we get to deny the life gain. I don't love doing this. But nah. I'd like, how about you don't gain 7 here? And I'm tempted to not play the Frolicking Tatsuko second main. Like, that sucks. To be clear, that sucks. But the temptation to not play Frolicking Tatsuko here is twofold. Number one, if they have the third Damn to Hell, I want Terminal Impact to get there. Because Terminal Impact at least forces them to Damn to Hell their own creatures. The nightmare scenario, I think, is our opponent just gets to go Exorcist of Error. Like, they get to go Swamp, Exorcist of Errors, Damn to Hell, if that's, like, their hand is, like, Swamp, Exorcist, and they draw another Damn to Hell or something in that combination. We're so screwed. So, you know, this is bad. I think with the mind of, like, that being the disaster scenario, it's worth developing the Frolicking Tatsuko, because, like, if it eats other removal, I'm fine with that. They're at 2 cards in hand. Yes, they might use Data Weaver here. If they use Data Weaver, I'm very happy about it. Man, this sucks. I almost wonder, is there a world where the correct line was Terminal Impact for 2 on main 1, then swing for lethal, make the opponent play... Or sorry, Terminal Impact for 2, take them to 3. Opponent pays 4... Inner Rings People is so fine. We pitch Spirit Realm Phoenix. Come on. Untapped land or another Bleeding Out. Opponent pays 2. Please tell me they're tapping 2 for a removal spell. Or the Kirin of Boons under Data Weaver. I'll take that. Or even Heap Ludicon as well to cast for an encounter. Okay, it's Kirin of Boons. Drum roll. Big drum roll moment. Oh, that is a tapped land. That is gut-wrenching. Yeah, I think if I'd gone so the concern with going for the Terminal Impact for 2 the prior turn before attacking with the Phoenix is the opponent can just kill Phoenix in response, and be like, yeah, cool. And then I don't get to go for the funny Bleeding Out for 3. So So while like there is a line there where terminal impact for 2 on first main leaves them open, there are just enough theoretical draws here where we benefit for our patience. God, the second Damned Hell, just so backbreaking. And of course, they did get the Inner Rings Pupil to start shredding our hand. So if we play this Temple of Origins, we might as well play the Terminal Impact and kiss our Tatsuko goodbye. This is rough. And one of the things I'm thinking about here is if we do that, they can burn a removal spell on Tatsuko, swing 2 + 2 + 3 + 7. That's 14. Plus level up Heat Ludicon. So they have lethal if we burn our resources here. Man, this sucks. Would have loved to just go for an encounter, spike the third Phoenix here. Take them to 1 and then terminal impact kill. But we just have to pass. As much as I'd love to develop the temple here and get the 5th land in play, Inner Rings Pupil is, of course, the thing that punishes us having any tapped lands that we could try and draw here, because developing those as our 5th land means we don't get to terminal impact for 5. There could have been an argument for terminal impacting for 4, but our opponent does not really have many things that are going to be hurting them. I don't really think at 5 life they're looking to cast a past resolved or unresolved. They draw a land. So the merit for casting terminal impact here, though, is that we do have an opponent who has a lot of hand attack in their deck. Oh, not Path of Phoenix. Just for an encounter. Just for an encounter. For an encounter with, please. Man, and this was going so well. This is truly one of my least favorite matchups in the format right now. Because it's my least favorite card in the format, plus another sweeper that just absolutely hoses any attempts to kill them. And like, let's look at the logistics here. If they find if the last card in their hand is the 3rd Damned to Hell, they're sitting on, oh my god. Is there any way I win from that? I think like the only way I win from that is to reveal terminal impact and have them take the face down card. Yeah, there was an avenue to winning here through the Damned to Hell, but it was just a little risky and I didn't spend too much time thinking about it. So they take terminal impact, just the face-up card. They make us discard Temple, put us 2/0 cards in hand, swinging the Inner Rings Pupil, Kieran of Boons, Data Weaver for 7. Possibly even the Heap Ludicon as well. I do not see an avenue to win here anymore, unfortunately. I'm just going to concede in response to this ability. Yeah, I like. There's no way we win from that board state. I see no world where we reveal the terminal impact and they let us keep it at 5 with 4 lands. So I do not fathom a world where we get to go for the lethal there. So there was an opportunity. I don't think it's likely our opponent would have like just sat on the Damn to Hell and let us take them to 3. So not like this. Not a 0 lander. Not a 1 lander. Good God. There are 5s that could be better than this, but those are very few and far between, and a lot of those 5s fold to an Exorcist of Errors. This one at least has double Ignited Soul plus Urban Jungle. They cannot pick off the first Ignited Soul before it gets to get a trigger. So if we put Kieran of Boons on bottom, actually, do we even put Kieran on bottom? Man, this matchup. I'm going to keep 6. I don't think there are 5s that could beat a turn 2 Exorcist of Errors, just quite frankly. It's between Kieran to bottom or Menelaya to bottom, I think. My concern with keeping only one of those 2 is Chronicle of Extinction forces us to put creatures to 3 toughness, and right now the things we have available to us do not do that. I think I need to put Bleeding Out to the bottom or Spirit Realm Phoenix to the bottom. I think it's going to be the Phoenix. I don't like it, but I think it's just got to be the Phoenix. We've only got 1 counter generator, and it is a single shot thing. So go to main 1, Urban Jungle, Ignited Soul, pass. And we pray. There's going to be a lot of prayers here. Untapped Swamp. We draw the Phoenix, so that gives us an easy discard to Ignited Soul here. We swing. They take 1. We loot away a Phoenix to draw a Kieran of Boons. Or, hold on, main 2. Ignited Soul. And then we pass, missing a land drop. Not like this. So they did have the Exorcist of Errors. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to reveal Menelaya Bleeding Out. So the choice is one of the cards we reveal, or they have to take a Kieran of Boons. They'll take Bleeding Out. So we preserve the information of the Kieran of Boons in hand. And now we're in a bad spot. Pretty much no matter what. We untap. We draw. Second Menelaya. We will pitch Menelaya to draw from the first one. Not another Ignited Soul. Oh my god. This is awful. Main 2. Calamity Cat. Tap the cat. Pitching Ignited Soul. Grow Ignited Soul. This is actually disastrous. End step, we do get back the Phoenix. That's the nice thing of taking the cat line here. Oh, man. I hate everything about what's happening right now. Oh, Path to Phoenix. Or Path of Phoenix. Well, we're gonna discard the Spirit Realm Phoenix for sure. We're gonna pitch the Kirina Boons for sure. We mill Frolicking Tatsuko's fine. The land is not. Really would have. I would have been overjoyed to see 2 Spirit Realm Phoenixes get milled there. Obviously, pipe dream, but would have been overjoyed. We untap, we draw Spirit Realm Phoenix. I think we genuinely have to go cat, pitch Phoenix onto the 2/2 Ignited Soul, make it a 3/3. Loot away the Menelaya, try and find the second land drop. At least we have 2 Phoenixes. Turn Menelaya into a forest on the first one. I don't even know if we can keep a forest. Because we have several double red cards. And like right now, our only reliable resource is Spirit Realm Phoenix, a double red card. I hate that we have to probably pitch a forest here. Oh my god. I don't want to pitch a land. This sucks. Who wants to pitch a land at a time like this? Because, like, it also... If the Exorcist of Error dies, we can't cast Bleeding out. This game sucks. Like, this is just worst case scenario. And this is exactly how round 3 went. Game 1 went exactly how we wanted it to. We were riding high, and then games 2 and 3 were awful. And I'm just staring into the abyss, wondering how I got to this place. At least in the Swiss rounds, that game 2, there was an easy excuse of choosing to keep a one-lander. I had to keep a one-lander here. Because I did not, let's be real. There's no 5 that beats an Exorcist of Errors, and guess what they had on curve? Ugh. Oh, this deck. I think I have to just play the forest. So Path Phoenix is going to tick us down to 16, tick our opponent to 15. If we find anything here, Omen of Slaughter. I think I sack the Ignited Soul? The 1/1? Oh, please tell me they miss a land drop too. They missed a land drop too. It's not disaster scenario yet. Unfortunately, they will get to Path of Phoenix, presumably an Ignited Soul here. We untap, we draw a Bleeding Out. Cool. Pitch the Spirit Realm, Phoenix Grow the Ignited Soul. Can I click the arrow, please? All right. We swing 4. They have to take 4. We loot the other Phoenix. We draw Temple of Origins. That gives us play. Okay. The one upside here is Ignited Soul is really proving its merit in this deck. We are 6 cards deeper than our opponent. Granted, they did mill us for 2 with Path of Phoenix, but I have to imagine you just take the Ignited Soul here. This doesn't let you play the card. You have to cast it. Yeah, so they can't take the land drop. It's Ignited Soul or Menelaya here, I think. Menelaya has its own merit, because Menelaya develops a blocker for Exorcist of Errors, except jokes on, or sorry, a blocker for Ignited Soul, but jokes on you, I just bleeding out the Exorcist of Errors in response to the enter trigger. Or in response to cast, really. I'm just going to have the red sources pre-selected. And this is also why we do not bleeding out at sorcery speed, because I don't want to give my opponent a bleeding out. They are going to take a Menelaya. We're going to bleeding out Exorcist here. So this leaves them with a 2/2 Menelaya and nothing else. So as disastrous as this has been, our opponent is now sitting on a 2/2 and possibly missing a land drop again. Oh, if they pass, suddenly we have salvaged a nightmare here. Tell me we've salvaged the nightmare. Show me we've salvaged the nightmare. The semifinal matchup does not look great either, but I wanna make it. I wanna make it. I believe. Our opponent knows every card in our hand They are missing land drops. That is the third Spirit Realm Phoenix. We absolutely run out of Spirit Realm Phoenix. We absolutely put a counter on Phoenix, pitching Phoenix. Hit the opponent for 1. Oh my god. We go to combat. We ship in 7 that cannot be blocked. What is happening? How is our opponent at 3? They do not have time to develop the Damn to Hell because they've missed land drops. Combat damage trigger. We loot a Spirit Realms Phoenix. Get another Calamity Cat. End step, we rebuy 2 Phoenixes. We have 4 cards in hand. Oh my god. If we get an untapped land, a board wipe doesn't save them. Actually, even if we don't get an untapped land, we have a Bleeding Out. They know the Bleeding Out's in hand and they're at 3. Oh no, the evil face. What's the evil face for? Holy cow. We dodged not a bullet, we dodged a nuke. 3 Chronicles, 3 Inner Rings Pupils. What is that hand? Oh my god. So there's the saying, if you're familiar, of better lucky than good. And holy cow, that game 3. I feel like I navigated it to the best of my ability. But oh my god, we got lucky. We got so lucky. I have attained justice. I think my record against Chronicle of Extinction decks is so bad. This might genuinely be one of the first times I've won against a Chronicle of Extinction deck in a GP. Which is horrifying to think about. It's a contributor to my disdain for the card. But we got there. We beat Chronicle of Extinction because we beat our opponent on developing mana after getting mana screwed. What was this game? Oh my god. Oh my god. Absolute nonsense all the way down. Oh my god. Well, we made it to the semifinals. It's gonna be another hard set of matches because the other contenders currently in semifinals, our opponent, Zangy, is on white-blue Ninja Tempo, which I don't think we have an amazing tempo matchup. And on the other side of the bracket, opponent saying, I wonder if I was supposed to go for Omen of Slaughter turn 2 into Scrying. I mean, picking off one of the Ignited Souls would have been really rough for us. Alrighty. I'm gonna wrap up the recording here. Semifinals match will come down the pike in due time. With how long it took for Epid and I to organize this match, Epid had pitched that we both reach out to Zangy. About making plans for what time we would play Zangy in the semifinals. I did not do so because I was not optimistic. Admittedly, I did not think I was going to get the revenge victory, but I got the revenge victory. So cheers to that. And yeah, the opponent next two cards were for swamps as well. So really getting in under the wire there. So yeah, I'll see you all in the semifinals match. Wish me luck, because it's gonna be an interesting one. But then so has this entire tournament. See y'all there.